tutorial part 2. Hopefully there's a part 3 and a part 4. But I'm going to be talking in this video. I'm going to be walking through some of the steps. It's a little bit different than my other videos. So I want you guys to comment and let me know what you think about it and what you think about the list. Today we're going to be using the Brow Wand eyebrow pencil from Scone. Once again, have yet to hear of this product, this company from anything else, but this brow pencil is the truth, guys. So let's get into it. So I start off with underlining my brow a little bit. As you guys can see, my brows aren't really that thin. You know, I got some hair there. So I really use brow pencils to fill in sparse areas and create a tip to the end of my brow. So I'm doing just that with that brow pencil. And it's not going to take that much time. It's really easy to use. It's really smooth for application. So I definitely like this brow pencil a lot. And then we're just going to move on to the left eyebrow. Brows are officially done. Well, you know, before we get to the concealer. But this new trick I've been learning is to tone your face before you put some primer on before your foundation. Kind of wake your skin up a little bit. So we're going to do that. Put our primer on, which is going to be Little Baby Too Faced Hangover. It was a little sample I got. And then we're going to move to the rest of the eyes. Excuse some of my pre-recorded clips. They're a little bit in and out, but this toner is really great. I know everybody has heard of Witchhazel before. It's really good to keep your skin hydrated, and also the primer that I'm going to use is really hydrating as well. It's good for your pores to minimize them, but it's hydrating, which is what I like to use for my foundation. I'm going to make these eyebrows super clean with some concealer, and then I'm also going to drag this concealer down onto my eyelids so it can be our base for our eyeshadow. After that, I'm going to use my famous Airspun Coty translucent powder. Long name, huh? But it's worth it, and it smells like grandma's happiness. That's what I call it. But we're gonna do that, and then once we're done setting with this powder, we're gonna get into the eyeshadow. So the brush that I'm using is a concealer brush from Morphe. You can use any concealer brush, any flat concealer brush you want, but this is the easiest way for me to carve out my brows. Like, I've tried it with the actual applicator itself. It works sometimes, but the brush just makes it super clean, and it kind of takes out the effort of the actual like brow pencil part because you're basically just cleaning everything up. I do, like to just bring it down. I know there's other eyeshadow bases you can use, but it's simple for me to just use the same concealer, drag it down, and just kind of blend it out on the eye. I usually use a concealer that's kind of light if I'm going to do color eyeshadow, which you guys will see. But you don't have to use something that's bright if this isn't like comfortable for you to blend out and for your skin tone. And then I just try to match up my eyebrows, and voila. And all I'm doing is taking that powder that I talked about and setting my concealer. Now we're going to move on to the eyeshadow. I'm just going to show you guys the palette I'm going to use, and then I'm going to try, to slow it down when I edit it so you guys can see every little part of the eyeshadow look, okay? So I'm taking a pink shade from the Zulu palette. It's the only light pink that's matte in that palette. I'm literally just buffing it out into the crease, the upper crease. I'm pretty much using this as my universal color right now. I go in back and forth motions, almost like a windshield wiper, and I do circular motions as well and kind of combine it. One thing I always do when it comes to any coloring your crease or anything is make sure to bring it all the way in, like towards the front of your eye and out, so everything is covered. And I like to also just go back and blend everything out and make sure it looks smooth for the next color to go underneath it. So I tend to do a shorter clip for my left eye because it's just a lot more work, but it's the same concept as the right eye. And then we're going to move on to the crease and outer crease. I'm using Zobo from the Masquerade palette. And I'm going to be creating a shape that's going to help us with the cut crease later. It's kind of like a V shape. And we're just going to make sure that it's defined and blended out, and do it on the other side as well and make sure it's even. And there you go. If you know me, you know this is my favorite part. I love putting an eyeshadow on my brow bone. I'm using that Tarte palette, the lightest shade that they have. It's almost like a beigeish, shimmery color. Just makes it pop. It makes it extra. It makes it fun, you know? So we are going to do a cut crease. And once again, I'm not really a cut crease gal, but I'm going to try it out for this look. So use a lighter concealer than the one you would usually use for your face. And we're going to take a flat brush that looks like this, a flat concealer brush, and just make the shape you want. Make sure it's in small little strokes. Don't do any big swoop because you might mess it up. Always do it in small portions, and you can watch and see how I do it. So like I said, I'm just shaking like small sections of the cut crease versus making one big swoop. I like to do my cut creases as more of like an elongated cut crease than just stopping at the end of my eye shape. I just think it looks really nice. So I'm just doing that, going across my eyelid, and then I'm going for the outer part, making it super thin and sharp. And of course we're going to clean it up later, but for now this is what we need to put the eyeshadow on top of. And we're just gonna make sure that it's as sharp as possible. I try my best. But yeah, that's the cut crease part of this. So I know that palette clip was short. I'm using the ColourPop Golden State of Mind palette. I'm not sure if they're still selling it, but it's the second shade in the palette. It's almost like this icy pink purple duo situation. It's really, really yummy. It didn't show up that well on camera, but you're just going to basically pack that in with another concealer brush on top of your eyeshadow, and just make sure you're still being neat, trying to keep that shape. A lot of times with glittery eyeshadows, they tend to like mess up the shape because they have a lot of fallout. So just try your best to be as clean as possible. That's why I use a concealer brush. It packs the eyeshadow tight, so it's easier to make a shape. For some extra fun, we're gonna grab our NYX glitter eyeliner and we're just going to line right around where we have drawn out our cut crease. I think one of my favorite tricks for a cut crease, if you're someone who's like, okay, I don't have a steady hand when it comes to concealer, is like a glitter liner, because glitter liners you can pretty much clean up anything with them. And I love the NYX ones. Urban Decay has great ones, but this one's a ride or die. I've had this for a while and I use it on a lot of my clients. Just trace the shape, doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but try to get it as close as possible. We're gonna move on to the skin. I'm gonna just point out the products I use for my foundation. So if you have a product you like, go ahead and grab it. I'm gonna show you what I use for my skin, and then I'm just gonna do my full foundation routine, and then when I get to contour, blush, and highlight, I will show you those products next. Alright, so now I'm just taking those two foundations mixed together on the back of my hand and I'm applying it to my face. This part, I accidentally picked up some concealer and it got on the bottom of my face, but it's okay, we're going to blend it out. I'm using a Sonia Kashuk blending brush for the foundation, and I'm also using the NYX Bear With Me spray. I like to spray any of my brushes with like a setting spray to kind of moisturize the brush as well before it applies. I feel like it helps set the makeup as it's blending out, and I think it just kind of helps with the application overall. So I'm just going to go from the bottom of my face to the top, blending out everything, making sure it's all smooth. I had to get my mirror to make sure everything was good. And once everything is blended out, I just go over the entire face and then I move on to the concealer. Alright, so now I'm taking the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. That's going to be first on the list for concealer. It's a little bit thicker than the Morphe one. And then I'm going to put the Morphe one on top for my chin and closer to my under eye. I'm going to go ahead and take the Sonia Kashuk brush first just to blend out above my Cupid's bow on my chin and a little bit of my nose, but I really like using the concealer brush that I have here. I'm pretty sure it's a concealer brush. It's really fluffy. I really like it for me on my under eye if I'm not going to use a beauty blender, because I usually do use a beauty blender. And I just kind of, it's circular motions. They work for me. I know some makeup artists kind of swear, I don't know, by the patting motion thing. I definitely agree with that for certain products, but for some reason when I do like swiping motions or a little bit of circular motions, it actually works pretty well for my concealer with this particular brush. So do what works for you. If you know that the circular motions are going to look streaky on you, don't worry, do the patting motions or grab yourself a beauty blender. You can pretty much never go wrong with a beauty blender in terms of evenness and it being really, really blended out. So now I'm going to go ahead and set the under eye with my Beauty Bakery setting flower in Plantain. It's a yellow shade. They have a bunch of different shades for a lot of different skin tones. This one's the best for me because I love that yellow brightens your under eye and it just looks more natural for me when I'm in pictures and, like pictures from Flash and everything. It looks more natural to me. I set everything. I set my forehead, my nose, I set my smile lines, everything with this powder. It really works well. Your makeup won't budge. Definitely go ahead and get this, girl. Okay, so now I'm looking a little one-toned and the foundation lip. We're gonna get it together. Don't worry. I'm gonna show you the bronzer I use, the blush I use, and I'm still deciding on the highlighter. We'll decide on the highlighter after we finish the rest of the eye look, but I'm gonna show you those two products and then we'll move on. So I didn't use Big Papa today. I'm always using Big Papa to bronze, but I was like, let me do a little something smaller, more focused. So I took this, it's almost like a rounded blending brush, kind of like a domish brush here. If I find the name for it, I'll definitely link it or put in the details. But you just kind of want to go in swiping motions, very small. I'm not big on doing big swipes or anything for my bronzer because it ends up looking very, very chalky. For the under eye, I'm taking that same pink from that first palette, the Zulu palette. I'm just putting it underneath my eye. Don't stress. Don't make yourself all stressed out about it. Just kind of rub it underneath. And then for the inner corner, I'm taking the first shade in that Golden State of Mind palette and highlighting the inner corners, making it pop. And I added some eyeliner too to kind of help because my lashes, you can see the concealer on them. They get a little light with the foundation and everything. And now I'm contouring my nose. I like to use a shade that's not too warm, cool, meaning that it's going to look more like an ashier brown. And just go to the sides of your nose, make sure you have a light pressure. And I like to do the bottom of my nose too. It kind of helps it look more buttony. Now for my highlighter, this is from Wet n Wild. I'm pretty sure the color is something that has to do with petals. Once again, I'll get these details together. But I love this highlighter if you don't want to do gold. If you want to kind of do something different than gold. It looks really, really nice on my skin. Don't do too much because it will look ashy. But just do a little bit, glow a little bit, girl. Why not? We in quarantine, why not? Shine. All right, so now we're just lining the lips with a NYX lip liner. I think it's an espresso. I usually do like a dark brown, and I try to be light with the Cupid's bow. I already have a predefined lip shape. But you just want to line your natural line. I know some people do the overline lips, but y'all see I got full enough lips already. I don't need no overlining or nothing. And this is a lip gloss from Tarte. If I remember the name, I'll try to put it in like the details, but it's just a nice, like iridescent kind of pink. Any like iridescent pink you got, you can pop that on. I'm gonna go fix this hair and I'm gonna show you the final look. Alright guys, so this is the final look. I tried to make my hair cute and all that, you know. Thank you so much for watching. Comment and tell me what you thought.